Our selection will be Behold the Lamb of Yah.
The Oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. As we are keeping these days, I've been seeing a few emails that some people were a little confused about the days, and if it's any newer people, when we go through all of these things on our days, to pick our days, we have several weeks that we first of all go through and count these things, and then there is a holy day calendar that is online. I suggest all you guys download that, so you'll have those things there, so that you can try to get accustomed to those days. I remember when I first started, I got off on all the wrong days because I wasn't. You have to get accustomed to the difference between the Hebrew calendar and dealing with the Gregorian calendar. But we can't just decide that we're just going to deal with everything Hebrew, and then we're not going to deal with the way that everything else is set up. We have to deal in both. You read this book. At one point, you read and they're calling Daniel. The next point, they're calling him another name. He had to walk in between Babylon and his culture. So ain't nothing different here. You ain't special, we ain't special. We got to walk in between our culture and the culture of Babylon. So 1 minute his name is one thing. That's when he talking to his folks. His folks call him Daniel. Then when he got to talk to other people, they got to call him by his heathen name. So our people have gotten accustomed to being able to walk in both cultures because being in captivity, you don't have a choice in the matter. We can't go and cause the ruling authority to deal with things the way we want to deal with them. If that's the case, you're not in captivity. That means you in control. No, if you want to be in control, you probably should have followed the commandments and you'd have had your own land. That's when you get to dictate how things are going. Other than that, we're going to have to walk in both of these things. So you learn that when you're looking at that calendar and it says we're going to meet Tuesday at sundown, you don't take Tuesday off. You take Wednesday off. See, after a while, you'll get accustomed to that. But, you know, I used to do it all the time, so I know exactly what that is. I've taken the wrong day off a couple times when I first started this thing. Because I say, all right, the whole day on Tuesday. I take off Tuesday. And they be like, no, it ain't till the night. I'm like, okay, so what about my off day? Well, you got the wrong ones. Hey, you do it a few times and then you start, okay. And you get accustomed to it. That's just a part of the walk. And that was one of the things that we read before in dealing with at even, at sundown. So we're seeing that Yahweh is directing us, and we see when the change of that day happens. Then it doesn't matter that the way the calendar is set up here, the day doesn't change until midnight. That's not the way the culture of this Bible goes, and we have to learn to differentiate between the two, because what happens is we'll read something that's actually pertaining to a different culture and a different understanding, and then we take our understanding from today, right now, at this particular moment, and we make that our basis point, and it won't work because we're trying to get that level of understanding from something that is not going to line up with the things that we do today. Let's begin today's sermon in Deuteronomy chapter 26, and we're going to read verses 1 through 19. Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verses 1 through 19. And the sermon is entitled Dedication of the First. See, the first of everything belongs to Yahweh. The earth and the fullness therein is his. So the first of all of the things that we get out of it belong unto him. That is even including our firstborn males. He said those are his. Deuteronomy chapter 26, and let's start this at verse 1.
And it shall be, when you are come onto the land which Yahweh your Elohim gives you for an inheritance, and possess it, and dwell therein, that you shall take of the first of all the fruit of the earth, which you shall bring of your land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you, and shall put it in a basket, and shall go on to the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose to place his name there.
Right, now this says the law of the offering of the first fruits. So the first beginning of those things then begins with Passover. So we're talking about these different stages of growing and harvest. So if you look at this, you'll understand where they got their Easter basket from. Go ahead.
And you shall go unto the priest that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I profess this day unto Yahweh your Elohim, that I am come unto the country which Yahweh sware unto our fathers for to give us. And the priest shall take the basket out of your hand, and set it down before the altar of Yahweh your Elohim. And you shall speak and say before Yahweh your Elohim, A Syrian ready to perish was my father, and he went down into Egypt, and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation, great, mighty, and populous. And the Egyptians evil entreated us, and afflicted us, and laid upon us hard bondage. And when we cried unto Yahweh Elohim of our fathers, Yahweh heard our voice, and looked on our affliction, and our labor, and our oppression.
And this is the one thing that I have to tell people a lot of times, verse 7, and when we cried unto Yahweh, Elohim, our fathers. He heard our voice. And, when you examine that, you start to ponder on some things. So what happens? He didn't hear us before. You got to deal with something. As we are a bunch of individual people, we all have a bunch of different prayers. But I tell you what, when everybody's in bondage, everybody's prayer is the same. When everybody's doing something at the same time, sounds like music. When everybody doing something at different times and they saying different stuff, that sounds like noise. So it's a difference between noise and music. All of a sudden, when we have the same issue, then we utter the same prayer. Now it's a sweet sound coming unto Yahweh. Now, we need to react on this here, because now I'm hearing a sweet sound that I need to respond to. I need to go and save my people. Before that, it just sounds like a bunch of noise. One person asking for redemption, the other one asking for some 20-inch wheels. He said, oh no, they don't need saving yet. They ain't ready for saving yet. Because they keep asking for different stuff. They must not be at the point where they need saving, because they're not all asking yet. But when that persecution starts happening, all of a sudden, those prayers start lining up. See? Now the person that was asking for some 20s, they said, you know what, I'll settle for some 16s. Wait a minute now. See, now we might be getting towards something, see? Now, look, just give me some 16s with some fat tires and redemption. Now, so now redemption is added in there. Before, redemption wasn't in there at all. Now this is starting to sound like something worth answering. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And Yahweh brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great terribleness, and with signs and with wonders. And he has brought us into this place, and has given us this land, even a land that flows with milk and honey. And now, behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O Yahweh, has given me. And you shall set it before Yahweh your Elohim, and worship before Yahweh your Elohim. And you shall rejoice in every good thing which Yahweh your Elohim has given unto you, and unto your house, you and the Levite and the stranger that is among you.
And it's more difficult for us to do that in these days and times, because we can go down to the local market and get whatever it is that we want. So we don't consider the toil or anything that produced those fruit. They're growing fruit in factories. They growing fruit in a place that ain't never seen the light of day. That's artificial light. Go ahead.
When you have made an end of tithing all the tithes of your increase the third year, which is the year of tithing.
Understand something. You don't just walk in a land and the land is ready to produce. See, that's one thing. Our fathers understood these things. That's why when you go and read the parables, these things were based on farming issues. It was talking about the wheat and the tares. This is something our people understood. The difference between a fruit and a weed. We're agricultural people. We grew our own food. These parables are harder for us to understand now, because we don't grow nothing. We don't even understand. I remember back in the days, everybody's house had some kind of fruit tree or some kind of garden. Everybody grandmama had a garden. Every now and then you'd be throwing the ball and that ball landing there, and you about to hear you some choice words, Jack. You don't even see gardens no more. You don't even see fruit trees anymore. But these parables are based off those things. So our disconnect is not some kind of disconnect because the scripture is difficult. The disconnect comes because our life is now different. But he wrote it. It was there for us to understand within regular stuff that we were going to have to do. You're going to have to eat. You're going to have to plant your food. Okay, let's deal with these parables according to what they got to do every day. Go ahead.
And has given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat within your gates and be filled. Then you shall say before Yahweh your Elohim, I have brought away the hallowed things out of mine house, and also have given them unto the Levite, and unto the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all your commandments which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commandments, neither have I forgotten them. I have not eaten thereof in my mourning, neither have I taken away aught thereof for any unclean use.
Now, consider this, verse 14. I have not eaten thereof in my mourning. Let's say somebody's parent or somebody's loved one passed away. We would then say, well, this is a reason for me to go ahead and get this stuff that I've been storing up for Yahweh. I'm going to go ahead and dip into that. He said, no. No, that was sanctified and set apart for Yahweh. I don't just get to get sad and then I'm going to go and dip in it. Because the first of my stuff belonged to him. Go ahead.
Nor given aught thereof for the dead. But I have hearkened to the voice of Yahweh my Elohim, and have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation, from heaven, and bless your people Israel, and the land which you have given us, as you sweareth unto our fathers, a land that flows with milk and honey. This day Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you to do these statutes and judgments. You shall therefore keep and do them with all your heart and with all your soul. You have avouched Yahweh this day to be your Elohim, and to walk in his ways, and to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments, and to hearken unto his voice. And Yahweh has avouched you this day to be his peculiar people, as he has promised you, and that you should keep all his commandments, and to make you high above all nations which he has made, in praise and in name and in honor, and that you may be an holy people unto Yahweh your Elohim, as he hath spoken.
Right. And our problem is being different. We want to be just like everybody else, and to make you high above all nations which he has made. Did he make all the other nations? Yes. But he has chosen Israel to be his representative on the face of the earth. So for that reason, you can't be like all the other nations. And we get upset when other people do wrong and nothing happened, and then we do wrong and we get yoked up. We upset. Like, no, that's not for you. You're supposed to be different. But we don't like that. Let's go to our Exodus chapter 23. And I don't know what this thermostat ought to be on right now. I'm feeling air. I don't know. We supposed to be having heat. This some strange weather. And I don't know if any of you know, I know some of y'all have come from other states, and y'all may not be used to Georgia, but when you come down here, you got to bring everything. You understand? Because we will have all the seasons in 1 week. I mean, every last one of them. We got a little spring, little summer, it's a little summer, little fall, little winter, and all that. Can you might get all of that in between this week of unleavened bread. This is but it's getting a little bit deeper than what it used to be. It used to be slightly that way. It is getting worse. That you really don't know from one day to the next. You can get a couple of those things sometimes in the same day. Well, it's winter in the morning, it's summer in the middle of the day, and then it's a little fallish toward the later end of the day. You're like, what is wrong with this place? It wasn't always that bad, but it's getting to be some seriously strange times with weather here. Go ahead. Exodus 23, and we're going to start at verse 10.
In 6 years you shall sow your land, and shall gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie still.
So the land is supposed to have a Sabbath just like we have a Sabbath. So when you hear all of these people telling you that, that Old Testament law is done away with, you don't have to deal with any of these things. This is part of the reason why they're having to grow things inside of factories. Because they have just overrun the land, doing all kind of strange things with it. Go ahead.
That the poor of your people may eat, and what they leave the beast of the field shall eat. In like manner you shall deal with your vineyard and with your olive yard. 6 days you shall do your work, and on the 7th day you shall rest, that your ox and your ass may rest, and the son of your handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed.
So what would happen is anybody who works for us should at some point begin to have a love for the Sabbath. Because they know, all right, when we get toward this Sabbath, they're not going to do any work. We're going to get the rest. They're not going to ask us to do nothing. Because this day Sabbath. This is the way they operate on their Sabbath. How y'all think we began to love Sunday and Christmas? All of a sudden, these extremely cruel slave masters all of a sudden got joyous. They're like, wasn't it the same dude that was beating everybody yesterday? Yeah, but he happy today. What is today? And when you get down to their Christmas, oh man, we learn to love that day. We learn to love that day strong. Because these people out passing gifts to people, and they're so joyous on that day. They don't even pay attention to what it is you're doing. And think about how confusing that would have been to a slave. Like, wait a minute, it ain't Sunday. The Christmas could be on any day. Think about how confusing that is. So is it Sunday? No, it ain't Sunday. What? Because we just had Sunday. So he happy 2 days in a row. Now look at the confusion. Then the next day they get beat to a pulp. Because they ain't got stuck on the 2 happy days. So we learn to try to figure out, when are these happy days coming that he got? And then we learn to love them. Well, when we get servants, they shouldn't learn to love these days because we're going to mistreat them. They should learn to love these days because they're going to have a complete and utter rest when our Sabbath comes around. And I've encountered some people that, own businesses, and they still make their servants work on the Sabbath. They say, well, the Sabbath is the Sabbath for me, not for you. It's peace. It's my peace. I'm gonna need you to go get me a piece of bread. Wait a minute. That's not how that's supposed to go. Now I know that's difficult when you come into the word and you've already, set up your things. So you have to kind of work around some things dealing here in the daughter of Babylon, because you may not always be able to get Saturday off. It was a while before I could get Saturday off. So I tell people, take that with a grain of salt, because we are still in captivity, And some of y'all just walk up to, human resources with your Bible. You see that? It's the Sabbath. So I ain't coming in no more, Mr. Bob Dabalina. And they're like, oh, and by the way, here's that little pink sheet right here. And take that with you. Right. You might want to be careful with that. Because I don't want you to be calling to my sock. I did it because of you. No, you didn't. I don't want to hear it. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of your mouth.
Okay, brother, did y'all turn the heat on when I said that? Because now I'm hot. Okay. I see, this is what happened. You got to be careful what come out of your mouth. When you, look, just turn it off. Just don't.
I don't know.
Which one of y'all? That was Elder Barack, ain't it? Yeah, it was, See, you got to watch them. See, I shouldn't even gave y'all that app that you can turn it on with your phone. This what happen when you give everybody access to the electronic app. See, I would see who walked up here before. I can tell who did it. See? But now I got a little app. See? And look, who just turned it off then? Uh-huh. Right. Them. That's what happened when we do something. Them and them. Then the same thing used to get us whooping when we were little. Mama, them doing it. Who? Them and them. All them down the street. Them and them, all them. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 14. 3 times you shall keep a feast unto me in the year. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. You shall eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded you, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it you came out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty.
All right, and as we read in the Septuagint, Abib is what? The month of what? New corn. So, yes, it will correspond to ending of March, beginning of April. That's 2 different things. Because there's ending of March, beginning of April. Then there's ending of April, beginning of May. See, if you don't differentiate those, you'll be at the last part of it. But how we talked about yesterday, what made it easy? Month of new corn. It's real easy to look over there and see when the corn growing. Because if the weather starts doing strange things like it does here, what happened if your corn didn't grow when it normally grows? Do you go ahead and keep your holy day anyway? You ain't got no first fruit to give. Then what you gonna do? Well, this is what time we kept it last year. Well, congratulations. But where your first fruit? Well, I ain't got no fruit yet. Oh, well, that's a problem. So there's a reason why we have to pay attention to that. We don't know what kind of storm's gonna come through. We don't know what is going to happen. So you don't just get caught up on this is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do this now because we're in the daughter of Babylon. But when you get in your own land, new corn. Now, for that reason, a lot of brothers who have been, they know people in Israel, they don't want to start their holy days until they hear, somebody from Israel say, well, the green is coming. Hey, bro, when I get that, we'll deal with it. But I don't want to hear nothing about what kind of corn is in Israel. I ain't there. I'm right here. I'm going to deal with what's growing in Israel when I get there. Because I don't trust nothing they got to say. My elder used to say you can tell when they lying because their lips moving. Read, bro.
And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when you have gathered in your labors out of the field.
When you have gathered in your labors out of the field. Go ahead.
3 times in the year all your males shall appear before the Adonai Yah. You shall not offer the blood of your sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. The first of the first fruits of your land you shall bring into the house of Yahweh your Elohim. You shall not seethe a kid in his mother's milk.
A lot of times when you look at these things, and especially because there are a lot of different doctrines that are being taught, it says 3 times in the year shall all your meals make an appearance. The first one, he says, in the feast of unleavened bread. But then when you go to listen to people, they have never heard of first fruits. So when did you make the appearance that was in the feast of unleavened bread then? So you automatically, there should be a question that came up. Okay, we make an appearance in the feast of unleavened bread. When? See, my elder used to say, you see them Jewish people and you see them in all of these outfits and you think they know something, go up to them and start talking. You'll find out they don't know nothing. There's folks that you start talking, they say, what's a new moon? What you mean, what's a new moon? How do you have holy days without knowing what a new moon is? A new moon is a new month. This is how you count your days. What do you mean you ain't never heard of that? This is why I tell people, just because somebody say they Hebrew, you might want to slow down and ask them some questions. Question that doctrine. As to, wait a minute, you ain't never heard of a new moon? How do y'all pick y'all holy days? We just wait till the man tell us. Oh, okay. All right. That's similar to Christianity. That's what we did. We waited until they told us when Easter was. You know how many people finna get ready to keep Easter and they still don't know how you pick the date for Easter? The date for Easter changes every year. And we just wait for the I've heard people say, well, what day is Easter on this year? It's like, you've been keeping it for 20 years and you don't know how they even come up with the date. Don't have a clue. Just waiting for the calendar to tell them what day to go. And don't even care how they come up with the date. That's the biggest problem. That we don't ask. I was 9, 10 years old asking questions about Easter. So what the eggs got to do? I mean, I love eggs. But what the eggs and the bunnies got to do with Jesus? I'm just, I was always asking them questions. Shut up, boy, go get the eggs. Okay. Because honestly, they didn't know either. They were just doing what they was taught, and they was teaching it to me. And I just hit them with a question. And I mean, I wasn't trying to be deep or nothing. I'm just trying to understand what I'm about to do. But I love the eggs and I love chocolate. Still do. It was hard for me to stop buying them Cadbury eggs when they came. Oh, man, I like them things. They had that little nasty little stuff in the middle. Ah, man, you're laughing too hard. Man, I be waiting for them to bring that little Cadbury egg out. Boy, I got in the Word. I be sitting there looking at the stove, looking at the Cadbury egg. Oh, that's what that. Oh, that sure look delicious. That chocolate, that the one with the filling in it? Yes, that is. Yep, that's that one. But I know if I get it, other people gonna be looking at me. So now, I was like, man, I can't get it. I can't get it. Man, but it messed with my mental for a little bit, trying to get myself off of that. And then I used to get the little bunny, and then I put it in the microwave and melt it so the chocolate just run all over the plate. I'd eat my bunny with a spoon. Yeah, can't do that no more. Can't do that. Go ahead, bro. That was it right there. Let's go to Genesis chapter 4. And the truth about Easter is stranger than anything you could ever imagine in your life. There's no way I could have imagined that was a fertility ritual. There's no way I could have imagined that we were being dressed up as instruments of reproduction. And I'm saying that in the nicest way possible. Mm-hmm. There's no way I could have imagined that. The truth about it is stranger than any story you could ever imagine. Genesis chapter 4, and let's read verses 1 through 7.
And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I've gotten a man from Yahweh. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Mm-hmm. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahweh.
He brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahweh. Go ahead.
And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof.
He brought the firstlings of his flock, the first of his increase that was given unto him. And it's not about, and this is confusing if you don't know about first fruit. Because understand at this point, if you're reading the Bible from beginning to end, first fruit don't make sense yet. There ain't no first fruit explanation. There is no anything. So this is that thing where people say, I'm going to read the whole Bible. So they just start at the page and then they start going. Well, I understand. You're going to need to go all the way to the end and then start back over. Because there's some things that Yahweh don't explain right away. And as a father, he shouldn't have to. When I say, son, take out the trash, if we got to get into dialogue, I'm pissed off. Because I really don't need to explain to you why you need to take out the trash. Take out the trash. Now, you know that when it's coming up to certain of their holidays, they changed the trash pickup. So your pickup won't be on the same day. But if I got to have a 20-minute discussion with my son about when the trash pickup is, there's a problem. What I need you to do is just get your hand, put it on that bag, and take that bag to the street. Stop talking. Well, Yahweh, operate. Just follow your instructions. You'll understand the rest later. There are times where they sin, then he clothed them with skins. Where them skins come from? He did an offering. He didn't explain that. He said absolutely nothing about a sacrifice. Go ahead.
And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. And Yahweh said unto Cain, Why are you angry? And why is your countenance fallen?
Right. Why are you angry? How is it that you do not understand? You just gathered up some stuff and brought it. What he brought was the first of his increase. What is confusing? Go ahead.
If you does well, shall you not be accepted? And if you does not well, sin lies at the door. And unto you shall be his desire, and you shall rule over him.
Right. It was not showing honor unto Yahweh our Elohim for him to just bring something. Yahweh don't have to accept something just because you brought it. Let's go to Exodus chapter 13. Exodus chapter 13, and let's read verses 1 through 15.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn whatsoever opens the womb among the children of Israel. Both of man and of beast, it is mine.
Both of man and of beast, it is mine. The firstborn whatsoever opens the womb among the children of Israel belongs to me. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto the people, Remember this day in which you came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of hand Yahweh brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. This day came you out in the month Abib. And it shall be when Yahweh shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, which he sware unto your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this month. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and in the seventh day shall be a feast to Yahweh. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with you, neither shall there be leaven seen with you in all your quarters. And you shall show your son in that day, saying, This is done because of that which Yahweh did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. And it shall be for a sign unto you upon your hand, and for a memorial between your eyes, that Yahweh's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand has Yahweh brought you out of Egypt. You shall therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. And it shall be when Yahweh shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites, as he sware unto you and to your fathers, and shall give it you, that you shall set apart unto Yahweh all that opens the matrix, and every firstling that comes of a beast which you have, the males shall be Yahweh's.
Right. Everything that opens the matrix, which is the womb. If you remember in the movie Matrix, they were growing people. Go ahead.
And every firstling of an ass you shall redeem with a lamb. And if you will not redeem it, then you shall break his neck.
You redeem it, you don't have to offer it up. It gets to continue to live. So that firstborn belongs to him, but you don't have to kill it. Go ahead.
And all the firstborn of man among your children shall you redeem.
Uh-huh.
And it shall be when your son asks you in time to come.
So if you redeem it, you offer something in that in the presence of that, and that thing keeps going. Go ahead.
Saying, what is this? That you shall say unto him, by strength of hand Yahweh brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage.
Right. So when he said, go offer up your son, your only son, Esau, he wasn't counting the son from the bondwoman. All right. He was only counting the son of the princess. And he says, go offer up this firstborn. And then he offered and gave something else in its stead. Right. Still dealing with the thing of the firstborn. Even adding that to a whole vision about the Messiah was all in that. He's dealing with several things right there at the same time. But see, you don't know that at the time you're reading it. You got to read some other stuff. Then when you come back, then you say, oh, wait a minute. So this is connected to this, this, and this. That's why you can't just go in order. You might go in order the first time, but after that, you got to jump around. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that Yahweh slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to Yahweh all that opens the matrix, being males. But all the firstborn of my children I redeem.
All right, did you finish that?
Yes.
Read this thing on the next graphic here.
Exodus 4:22. And you shall say unto Pharaoh, thus says Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
So this is who you are named after. You are named after the firstborn of Yahweh. So when Yahweh gets ready to deal with Pharaoh, he's dealing with him for a reason. You have been set on earth as a representation of his firstborn son. Go ahead.
And I say unto you, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if you refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay your son, even your firstborn.
So then Yahweh likens the entire nation of Israel as one son. That's who we're named after. Israel is a holy name. We were not given Yahweh until some time back. We were given El Shaddai, and Israel is a part of El. So it's one of those things that we have to deal with, that Yahweh is going to set forth a certain level of righteousness in the earth, and it has something completely to do with you. And you carry his name, you're going to have to get it right. Let's go to Numbers chapter 3.
Numbers chapter 3 and verse 5. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, bring the tribe of Levi near, and present them before Aaron the priest, that they may minister unto him. And they shall keep his charge and the charge of the whole congregation before the tabernacle of the congregation, to do the service of the tabernacle.
Right. When you read Romans 9 and verse 4, and it starts talking about the Israelites and the duties that they have, you find all of the authorization and all of the duties that were given unto Israel. So when all of these people say, you got to be a Christian to be saved, when I go in the book and I find out who has the duties of service, I only find Israelites. So why would I want to be anything else? No one else was given any authority. When you go and read the epistles, you find that everything they did, they had to go back and do what? Talk to Saul. Saul was the one giving the instructions on what happened within a church that he wasn't even at. He's somewhere else. I've received your letter about such and such and such and such, and this is what need to happen. He wasn't out. They had to ask him. The authority was given to Israel from the beginning and in the end. The people act like they don't see that when they reading this book. That's why you got certain people here that had gone to Jewish congregations and they baptized them and they wasn't even in the water. Because that dude knew he didn't have no authority. That's why he was standing on the outside of the pool telling them, all right, now dunk yourself in. All right, now lean all the way down. Yeah, now put your left foot in and shake it all about. Yeah, do all that. Why you ain't in here? Oh, because I don't have any authority to deal with you. You Israel. I don't have authority. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and they shall keep all the instruments of the tabernacle of the congregation and the charge of the children of Israel to do the service of the tabernacle. And you shall give the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons. They are wholly given unto him out of the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And you shall appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest office. And the stranger that comes near shall be put to death.
Right. So everybody can't just walk up and be priests. So what you have then is now the nation's out teaching that the priesthood has been done away with. They're trying to get you to walk away from your gift of service that was given unto you. So now they tell everybody that the priesthood is something that's not valid. It wasn't valid for you. It ain't got to do with us. We were told from the beginning that we were going to be a kingdom of priests from day one, before he even opened up the priesthood to other tribes. There wasn't but one tribe of priests, and that was Levi from the beginning. He said, you're a kingdom of priests. That didn't make no sense right away. How we a kingdom of priests, but it ain't but one tribe here that's priests? Just keep waiting. Later on, oh, when you read that 144,000, it ain't 144,000 of Levites. They're coming out of all tribes. That wasn't so before. So did he just make that decision later on? No, that was made from the beginning. Go ahead.
Verse 11, and Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, and I, behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn that opens the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore the Levites shall be mine.
And when you examine the whole things of the priesthood, the Levites did not have land. They were scattered all about among Israel so that they can be the priestly servants to all of those tribes. But they don't have a thing of land. When you go and start dividing the land and doing all of those things, you don't find no land for them. Their job is to deal with the things of Israel. And that seems strange to us. But no, that's why they were given things of the tithe and things like that, because they don't have a possession like everybody else. Their life can't be like everybody else. They got a different life. You can't sit your life beside the life of the Levites. You couldn't do it. That's why they had to marry priestly women who could deal with priestly things. Go ahead, bro.
Because all the firstborn are mine, for on the day that I smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I hallowed unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine shall they be. I am Yahweh.
All right. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 2.
.66. Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 1. I lifted up mine eyes again, and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then said I, Whither goeth you? And he said unto me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what it is, the breadth thereof. To see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length thereof. And, behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him, and said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls for the multitude of men and cattle therein. For I, says Yahweh, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Ho, ho, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, says Yahweh, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, says Yahweh.
I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven. So when people start talking about the children of Israel came out of Germany, there's a problem there. First of all, how y'all get there? And then how y'all get out? Children of Israel is supposed to be coming from all different directions. But you're not supposed to be able to read and comprehend that. Go ahead.
Deliver yourself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon.
The first part of delivering yourself is delivering yourself in your mind. Because if you are set on everything that the daughter of Babylon offers, you are an inner captive. And if your mind is captive, the rest of you going to stay captive too. Go ahead.
For thus says Yahweh of hosts, After the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye.
He that touches you touches the apple of his eye. And he is going to deal with them. But in his own time. Not in our time. Because see, Israel still got to deal with the things that we've done against Yahweh. So then he'll step aside, let righteous judgment happen unto us, but then he's going to deal with the people that have put their hands on us. But that's in his time. But understanding that, this is why you have so many people that are, ready to join some of those, corner operations where they out yelling at everybody on the corner because they ready to go at every nation that has done us some harm. That's Yahweh's job. And it's Yahweh's timing. That ain't our job. Because mixed in there is some people who have truly done wonderful and great things for the nation of Israel. And they look just like the people who set us on fire too. But some of them people put their life in danger, hiding us under their house. How you know the difference? Because they look just alike. And what happens if you decide to persecute the wrong one? You think Yahweh gonna let that slide? No. They earn their pass. You gonna pay for that. How about let's just let him do his job? Go ahead.
For, behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And you shall know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for, lo, I come, and I'll dwell in the midst of you, says Yahweh. And many nations shall be joined to Yahweh in that day, and shall be my people. And I'll dwell in the midst of you, and you shall know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me unto you.
Many nations shall be joined unto you. When we came out, didn't those mixed multitude join unto Israel? Right. They realized, hey, we get taken care of by following the things of these people. It ain't like Egypt just took over us. Egypt took over anything that came in their area. They just conquered it. Go ahead.
And Yahweh shall inherit Yehudah his portion in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. Be silent, O all flesh, before Yahweh, for he is raised up out of his holy habitation.
All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots.
So now we're talking about the natural lineage of the body of Yahshua, not the spirit. The spirit came forth out of heaven at baptism and dwelt on that natural body. That's how it is written. He that came out of heaven is the same one that went back in. That's what that's talking about. That's the spirit. The natural body part came forth out of the lineage of David. And what Yahweh was doing was merging the priesthood and the kingship together. Before, the priests come out of Levi, the kings come out of Yehuda. This is why Yahshua had to come out of the lineage of David, because the lineage of David is where the kings come from. That's how we got a God, king, high priest. That's why he has different crowns. See, the priest has a crown. The king has a crown. This is why he has more than one. Go ahead.
And the spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him.
The
spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yah.
So that is all seven spirits that match these seven golden candlesticks over here. Go ahead.
And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yah. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid.
Now we're talking about a different part in that kingdom, where the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, because if they all eating grass, they ain't got no reason to kill each other. Go ahead.
And the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them.
Right. And I can't wait till I can get me a lion. I can't wait. If I get me a lion, it's on. Y'all can keep y'all little pit bulls. I'm gonna make your little pit bull run. I'm gonna ride my lion down the street. I'm gonna be playing it in Maine. Oh my God, I can't. Boy, I can't wait. I want to be the first cat on the street with a lion. Go ahead.
And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox.
Now, I look at folk that try to do that now. And see, there's a certain amount of fear that jumps up in me automatically. I be like, now see, it ain't time yet. See, that's why he mauled you. Right there. It is not time. And they're like, but I raised him from a ute. He was a little bitty ute, and I raised him, and then he turned on me. No, he didn't turn on you. He turned back on you. He's an animal. Okay, he turned back animal. You tried to make him a person. That is not a pet. That is a killing machine, what that is. That is a hunter. Okay, when you see this thing and it starts crouching, you finna die. You playing with it. It's not playing. This is not a cat, boo-boo. That's a killer. And they think they can raise the little killer. It's not going to be a killer. No. Eventually, it's going to kill you. But see, what caused us problem in the beginning? We want to get knowledge out of order. See? So now people want to raise a lion out of order. See, because I don't want nobody to say, I got me a lion because Suck said on the Sabbath day. No, you get one and it eats you. That is your fault. Don't send me no emails. Do not call my phone saying I'm the reason why half of your face is missing. I didn't have nothing to do with that. It is not time for us to have that yet. Did it say we gonna have it? Yes. Do not do that out of order. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain.
What's the cockatrice? Bruh, I don't play with them now. I don't like the nice ones. I don't like any of the people like, well, these kind don't bite. It's a snake, right? I don't want to be nowhere near those. People walk through the park and they just throw the little snake around their neck. Everybody be like, oh, let it touch it. No, thank you. I'm straight. It ain't time yet. The child gonna stick his hand in the hole where the little snake is and not even worry about it. It's not time though. I'm not gonna do that yet. Go ahead.
For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Adonai shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar.
Shinar is Babel. Go ahead.
And from Hamath and from the islands of the sea.
Right. And we know when we go there, we ain't running into nobody but people who look like him. So how all these people said that they in Israel and they came from one place? That don't fit what's written. So either the book line or they line. Go ahead.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Yehudah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehudah, and Yehudah shall not vex Ephraim.
So the whole land of Israel is divided between envy and vexation. So when people say, oh, we need to come together as a people. Sorry to hurt your feelings, boo-boo, but it ain't time yet. We ought to get together, hold hands, and sing Kumbaya. I'm sorry, boo-boo. It's not time yet. Y'all can go ahead and try it, though. I'm going to be over here drinking coffee. Because it's not time yet. And you can go and do whatever that is you want to do. It's not going to work. Why? It's not time yet. But go ahead, though. Don't let me stop you. Go ahead. Read, bro.
But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them.
Right. All them Palestinians that they over there fighting with, Yahweh is going to have, see, there's an automatic problem that's already brewing, right? They have constantly just beat on these people. Who is going to be openly willing to accept a bunch of soldiers to gather their ranks, to join with them, other than some people who've been fighting with sticks all their life? And now here come all these people. They're like, okay. This may change the whole outlook. Right. See, Yahweh is the Elohim of the whole earth. So he's working on several things at one time. So while you're doing your thing, he's working on something way on the other side of the earth. So you got brothers who's spending all their time learning Hebrew. And they're going into all these things. This is our language. We need to know this to get in the land. Bruh, we got to first get to Israel. We need people to speak other languages, not Hebrew. By the time we have to speak Hebrew, we're in our own land. We got to get there first. We need some people to speak Arabic. We got to get there first. How many languages it is in Africa? Speak some of that. Don't come to me talking about you speak Hebrew like we going to click our heels 3 times and we going to end up in Israel. No place like Israel. Yeah, look at that, boy. Let's go to Jerusalem. That ain't how that's going to work. So you spend all your time trying to learn some Hebrew root words, thinking that this is going to help us. We got to get there first. And you're going to have to go through these people's land. How do you think that's how Yahweh picked who we were going to war against? We going through the land. He said, all right, now ask them, can you go through? They say, no. All right, now go kill them. The ones who said, yes, said, look, we are just trying to go through. We won't bother you. We just trying to get to such and such. And the ones that said, okay, leave them alone. So, but I'm going to let you know which ones you got to kill. Yahweh, we asked them. They said no, but we will fight against you. Good. So go over there and kill all of them and then take their stuff. That's where you're going to get more weapons at. See, they got a lot of weapons over there. I forgot to tell you that. Okay, so go over there, kill all of them, and then get their weapons. What? Right. He is going to make sure, normally, the people who you have to come against, they're going to come against you first. So we got to make it there. There ain't no way with the control that the Jewish have over this place, there ain't no way they're going to put us on a boat and send us to Israel. Not going to happen. They running Africans out of that now, trying to sterilize the Ethiopians that's there, trying to give them shots so they won't produce. And you think they're going to let a bunch of you come there? What dream world are you in? They going to shoot them boats, Jack. You not coming now? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 15. And Yahweh shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people.
A highway from the remnant of his people. Go ahead.
Which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
I'm sorry. How they came up out of there? Yeah, they walked. So you think you're going straight to Israel? You can go ahead and can that. Go ahead, brother. Jump to chapter 13.
It says, chapter 13 and verse 1. The burden of Babylon which Esaias the son of Amoz did see. Lift you up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustered the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl you, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames.
Right. Russia put out a thing that says if a conflict arises between them and America, they said America will not be able to sit across the waters this time and battle other people as they have been able to do basically forever. In every conflict they got in, that conflict was always waged in somebody else's land. What has that done? That has made this country some of the most spoiled individuals ever. In a conflict of war, we have not seen not one pile of smoke. We see it on TV. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of killing going on over there. But we didn't have to be involved in it. Russia said, it ain't gonna happen this time. Oh, they talking big. It's, oh, no. We got some stuff that'll hit the shores of America within seconds. She ain't gonna be able to just sit across the water and not hurt. Now this Putin talking. He said, no. This time I guarantee you it ain't gonna go that way. That's what made it easy for them to jump into conflicts. Why? None of it ever comes here. You think about, y'all saw how people lost it during 9/11. They still talking about 9/11. And this was their own little orchestrated mess, because none of it makes sense about 9/11. Nothing about 9/11 makes sense. No part of an airplane fell down. Although an airplane went through a building, there was no wing, no tail, none of it was laying on the ground. So you mean it disintegrated in midair? They almost got laser beams or something. How y'all make it disappear? Right. None of it makes any sense. One of the buildings fell down and didn't even hit it. It just got weak and saw the other ones. Ah! It just fell on its own. What kind of building was that? Right. People not going to know how to act when that destruction come here. Because they ain't never had to see it. And these people talking big, they getting ready for this conflict. This conflict has been brewing for generations. They getting ready for this conflict. They are tired of being controlled. And what we just saw, they want to say there's no collusion between Russia and America. Hey, if you buy enough judges, you can get them to say anything. And that's pretty much what he was going to do. I'm going to keep firing people until somebody say what I want them to say. You got that kind of power, you would do the same thing. That's the game that they playing. But we know Russia got their man. And if this place staying long enough, watch and see, don't there be a Trump Tower in Russia. Just wait. And they going to act like they don't know what happened. What's this building right here? The name ain't going to go up until the last day. They going to be building the whole thing and there ain't nobody going to talk about it until the day they open the doors, and then they going to pull that little sign out. That say Trump Tower. How he get that? You know how he got it. You know how he got it. So it's going to be interesting if this thing jumps off, because they are not going to be able to sit there. And these people have gotten so spoiled. We don't know how to act if we got money in the bank and can't get to it. It's one thing if you already broke. It ain't no big deal. You ain't got no money there no way. But when you got some money in that bank and you go to that bank and they say, oh no, we can't access our accounts right now. What? I don't understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is you can't get no money. Ah! We ain't conditioned. We ain't that kind of people. See? Oh, this is going to be a totally different fight. Totally different fight. While we've been relaxing and being in luxury, they've been preparing for war. They've been getting all their stuff in order. Everybody getting ready. While we going on vacation, talking about the new place we're going to go. They like, okay, y'all keep on getting ready. Y'all keep on getting ready to have your little fun. We getting ready to kill you. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Behold, the day of Yahweh comes, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine.
And we can read about this same event in several places. You can go in Joel, you can go in Revelation. This event has not happened. Where the stars in heaven will not give their light. The sun shall be darkened. We're talking about some serious issues. Go ahead.
And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their lawlessness. And I'll cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
And when you haven't had to feel any of the problems of war, it has a tendency to multiply arrogance. We've got into every conflict, even the ones we lost as Americans, we never felt. They never had to really feel the loss of Vietnam here. Vietnam, America didn't win. What they lost were people. But not one building was destroyed here. Not one. Basically, it would have kept going if people didn't start looking at the newspaper and television articles when them people went over there and start talking about what was happening. That's what changed the thought process about the war. The war was so far from them, they didn't have to deal with it. Go ahead.
I'll make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
If a man is going to be more precious than gold, that means there's a lot of death. Because right now, you know what I'm saying, folks say, look, I don't need no man. I'm an independent woman. When men start dying off, be like, okay, look, me, you, and her can share this man. I don't, look, it's not, we got to figure something out here. We got some problems. Right. When thousands and thousands start dying, we're going to just wait. A lot of people talk that talk, and it's so funny. We get out of this place, it's going to take care of all that independent thing. An independent woman go over that hill to get some water and never come back, it going to take care of that independent. After that, they're going to be like, all y'all sisters come with me, we're going to go get some water. Right. They're going to take care of that business right now. Go on over that hill independent if you want to. You will not independently come back. That's going to take care of that business. We talking about we got to go through Moab and Ammon land. Y'all might want to go on the internet and look. Them dudes come up to the cars with AK-47s if the woman ain't fully covered right. Run around and play that game if you want to. If they saw too much of your flesh, they got an AK-47 pointed at the window. Wrap up better. Ah! Play that game if you want to. They gonna take care of that business for you. Had a sister tell me, oh no, God didn't give me this beautiful hair for me to cover it up. When that AK-47 pointed at that window, God want me to tie this up. Yeah, right. That AK-47 got a way of making you change your mind. Right. When you looking at that banana clip hanging out the bottom of it. Right. It's got a way of making you change your mind. These people not playing. You think you're going to wear pants and walk through the land of the Muslims? Go right ahead. Let's see. Go ahead. These people not playing. You think you're going to walk through there with some jeans on and you got brothers that don't want to say nothing to their wives and their wives walking around with pants on? All right. We just not going to see your wife again. The rest of us going to learn. Baby, make sure that thing go all the way to your ankles. Are they killing people over here? This is real. This is not a game no more. This is not a game. I mean, we're going to start having ankle check. It's not going to be, baby, I want you to stand on that hill. All the way on the hill. Go. Okay, I want to make sure I couldn't see your ankles. That's too much. Hey, brother going to have to do that to protect his family. It's not about being some kind of mean dude. No, these folks going to kill you coming through here. That'll make you pay attention to the laws of Yahweh our Elohim. When you start realizing that these people not playing and you got to go through their land, you're just not going to puff the magic dragon and be in Israel. You got to make it through there. And this is how Yahweh is going to magnify his law. I ain't got to wait until you get in the land to magnify the law. I'm going to let these heathens magnify it on your way there. Didn't he give us the law before we got the land the first time? Y'all ain't paying attention. Did we get the law in the land or before we went into the land? Okay. What you think you finna do this time? The AK-47 is going to make it wrap up. I guarantee that. And sisters ain't going to be wanting to show all that stuff once them perm grew out of there anyway. Because we so busy thinking that this is hair. Recognize what you were given. This is yours. This is what this is supposed to look like. See? Go ahead, brother. Where you at?
Verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, in the anger of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land.
Right. Everybody else know where they come from. Everybody you got all of these organizations that want to say every nation under the sun. That little twisted Israel tribe chart, that little 12 tribes chart. Man, that stuff should be in the bathroom so you can wipe with it. It is absolutely horrible. It is the worst thing that anybody could come up with. Everybody in the whole world is Israel. I tell you what, when the persecution start happening and everybody flee to their own land, let's see if all these so-called people on that 12 tribes chart, let's see if they go with us. When all the Mexicans start going back to Mexico, when all they want to say Hawaiians is in the chart, they want to say everybody's there, let's see if they go with us. See, they got a land that they can go back to. Let's see if they go back to it. Or if they're going to say, no, we're going to stay and suffer with the children of Israel. The mixed multitude went with us. It was a plus for them to get out of a destroyed Egypt. It is not going to appear as a plus to leave with you right away. That's how Yahweh see who's real and who's not. See, it's real easy to be somebody's friend when they got a lot of money and they throwing it around. Run out of money for a couple weeks. See how many of your friends still around. Let your position disappear for a second. See if you still got them same friends. Go ahead, brother.
No, I just wanted to add to, because you consider the transition that our ancestors went through. It wasn't an easy transition. It was to the point where they believed that they were gonna die out in the wilderness. So if we have to consider that the worst times is coming than they ever been on this earth before.
Exactly. So
it's
gonna get worse before it get better. And people ain't signing on for worse. Them people didn't know it was gonna be like that. And when you look at it, it was the mixed multitude that kept making them trip. Because they like, wait a minute, man, we just seen your God come on in here and he spanked Pharaoh. He spanked Pharaoh, made him holler uncle. So now we was considering some great things was about to happen. Now we out here starving. Your God is strange. You done beat up on Pharaoh and then you get him bring us out here to starve. That confused the mixed multitude. It confused us, but it really confused them. Because they thinking, surely, we're going to be in a great kingdom here in about, maybe 5-6 days. And they got stuck. They were not expecting that. But this is how Yahweh shows the heart of men. Let's see who gonna walk when it's not profitable to walk. Who gonna walk when it's not cool? Man, wearing a beard now is the coolest thing ever. People just come up to me. I got grown men coming to me. Brother, that beard is spectacular. Hey, man, hold on, brother. Hold on, bruh. Hold on, bruh. Come on, man. I got folks walking up. Hey, man, what you doing with your finger? What you been? Can I touch it? No, you cannot. You can't just put your hands in my face. What is wrong with you? Oh, it's so cool to have a beard now. A couple years back, I remember relatives saying, I don't know why you want to do that to your face. You just let all that hair grow on your face. You had such a nice looking face. And you just messed it up with all that hair. Right. The same ones are the ones that come up now. The beard looks so nice on you. Yeah, but I remember a couple years back, you was the one that was telling me, that I messed up my face. I messed up my face. Check that out. I messed up my face letting this hair grow on it. But now it's cool. Who can follow Yahweh's culture when it ain't cool? That's who he looking for. No, we can all follow the end thing. Who can deal with it when it ain't the popular thing to do? Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Russians against them.
Right. The Medes are the Russians. It was who that Nikita Khrushchev that went to the United Nations, took off his shoe, beat it on the table, and said, we will destroy you. Talking to America. We will destroy you, for it is given to us through prophecy. What prophecy? You just read it. What was this man beating on the table about? He said, we're going to destroy y'all. And now look at all the Russian influence that's going on right now. That same stuff would have never been heard of a couple years ago. Look at how it's happening now. Go ahead.
We shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Right. You ain't going to be able to buy these Russians off. Go ahead.
Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces.
Right. And we know that missiles look just like arrows. Go ahead.
And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellence, shall be as when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never...
Go ahead and read that.
It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherd make their fold there.
And one thing we have to understand about prophecy is that prophecy operates in a duality. You have where the original Babylon sat, and then you have basically they've just been fighting over the rulership of the same kingdom. And now you have, of course, this daughter of Babylon, which is basically getting in Europe's way. A whole lot of power and prestige Europe is supposed to have, they can't have because of America. And this is her daughter that was supposed to help her rule, but she took her own rule. See, we have forgotten the way this was set up. These colonies were supposed to work for her. The colonies said, no, we done got to taste the power and we like it. So we want our own thing. But Europe ain't forgot. You know what? My daughter is disobedient. We're going to have to step aside, let my daughter get dealt with so we can have the power that we're supposed to have. Go ahead, bro.
You know, when you look at verse 18, and it talks about their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. When you consider the ancient bows, those don't dash men to pieces.
No, they go through you. You know, you get hit with something, but no, it sure ain't gonna do it like that. These things that they got here, man, they got bullets that turn corners. That's why when these folks be out on the corner yelling and doing all of that, be like, man, please. Man, you don't have nothing for what these folks got over here. They got enough technology, man, to see you and you don't even see them. So you sitting out here doing all this yelling, you won't even see, all you just see a plume of smoke and a bunch of purple clothing go everywhere. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even see what happened. Man, you can't go against me. Stop playing these games. They know you standing there. They got cameras everywhere. They know you standing there. They let you stand there because it works to their favor. But the day that it doesn't, get ready for the games. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 36. Ezekiel 36, and let's start that at verse 1.
Also, you son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus says the Adonai Yah, because the enemy has said against you, Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession.
Right. Listen to some of the things, especially when we put out videos like Curse of Israel and Esau the Imposter. Look at when the Jewish get on there and they try to gainsay it. They get so angry when you start delivering that truth. They start, well, we're in the land. Well, we have such and such. You guys don't even understand the language. Yeah, that's what happened when you get spread across the globe. You start speaking the language of the place where you were born. But it really bothers them when you start pulling out the truth of who they are as people. Y'all not Israel. It is impossible. Well, and they got the whole world on this anti-Semitic thing. It is not possible for you to be anti-Semitic because you are a Shemite. That's what Semitic means. The people who are accusing you of being anti-Semitic, they're not Semites themselves. They come out of Russia. No, they was ran out of Russia. So when they say, anytime somebody say something against Israel, they're anti-Semitic. Our next question would be, where's somebody at? Where was our anti-Semitic at? Where one at? Because you sure as hell ain't one. I know who your people are. You ain't no Shemite. But instead of answering that way, we start trying to prove how we're not anti-Shemitic, which only helps them tell the lie that that's who they are. You argue the wrong point. Go ahead, bro.
Therefore prophesy and say, Thus says the Adonai Yah, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and you are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people.
Right, we become an infamy of the people at the 6 o'clock news. When they don't show anything but us. Other people do crimes, but it don't seem to make it to the television. Go down to the jailhouse, you see all manner of people. Wait a minute, how do these people get in here? I don't never see them on the news. Go ahead.
Therefore, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Adonai Yah. Thus says the Adonai Yah to the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus says the Adonai Yah, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea,
which calls themselves Israel. Go ahead.
Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey.
Right. It's one of the things that you have the so-called Jews fighting Moab and Ammon, the people who call themselves the Palestinians, and they're both fighting over land that don't belong to either one of them. Go ahead.
Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, thus says the Adonai Yah, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore thus says the Adonai Yah, I have lifted up mine hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. But you, O mountains of Israel, you shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come. For, behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and you shall be tilled and sown. And I'll multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the cities shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be built.
Right, and we're going to need to be multiplied after he already let an enormous amount of us get killed off. And after he make a man more precious than gold, now it's time for multiplication. Go ahead.
And I'll multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit. And I'll settle you after your old estates, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings. and you shall know that I am Yahweh.
I will settle you after your old estates. We spending time decorating the houses and doing all the stuff that we doing. It's a house in Israel that's already yours. You don't even know it yet. You go up on a place and say, you know what? I think I'm going to settle here. And you're like, yeah, I know, because this is your house. This once belonged to your family. This is your land right here. All this stuff right here is yours. I'm going to settle you after your old estates. You got family land. You just don't know it yet. Go ahead.
Yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess you, and you shall be their inheritance, and you shall no more henceforth bereave them of men.
This is why the nations don't want to hear this word. They don't want to hear that they're going to have to deal with the judgment of the things that they've done. They don't want to have to deal with these portions where it says you will have for slaves those whose slaves you were. Oh, they don't like that. So that they got to lean back to Jesus, because Jesus then won't do that to them. Now Jesus did it to us. What, when we worshiping Jesus when we was still slaves? I'm sorry, he did it to us, but he definitely ain't gonna do it to them. So they think that they can avoid this righteous judgment if they just not hear anything out of this Old Testament, these prophecies that have not been fulfilled. We can bypass those. No. All of the Egyptians didn't rule like Pharaoh. They were Egyptian citizens. They didn't have any power over what Pharaoh did, but they benefited from everything that Pharaoh did. They benefited from ruling over the children of Israel with rigor. So when it came down to the punishment, they had to take part in the punishment, because they took part in all the good things that they received from the evil that was done unto us. And why is that confusing? If Kish was over here selling a pound of dope a day and he was buying me stuff, guess what they're going to do? After they catch him with the pound of dope a day, they're going to come talk to me. Hey, man, you just got that new spaceship Benz, right? Did Kish buy that? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Show us where you bought it then. All right. When you can show us how you afford this spaceship Benz on your salary, then we'll give it back. But we know Kish bought this. Give me this. What's the problem? I say you benefited from a criminal enterprise. They take that stuff too. What's the problem? So why everybody think they innocent in America? Well, I didn't own slaves per se. I owned some people who owned some slaves, but I didn't own them slaves. Okay. Tell Yahshua. Don't tell me. Tell Yahshua. We got Fortune 500 companies that were taken from slaves. Slaves were the ones that built those things. Those were slave creations, but when you on the plantation, everything you create belongs to the slave master. That's all their stuff. We got Fortune 500 companies that we're supposed to have. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 13. Thus says the Adonai Yah, because they say unto you, you land devoureth up men, and have bereaved your nations. Therefore you shall devour men no more, neither bereave your nations any more, says the Adonai Yah. Neither will I cause men to hear in you the shame of the heathen any more, neither shall you bear the reproach of the people any more, neither shall you cause your nations to fall any more, says the Adonai Yah. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their own doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman.
Uncleanness of a removed woman, a woman who is going through her purification, is set aside from holy things during that time. Our people don't want to hear none of that. We got women pastors running congregations, and they up there week after week after week after week. at some point, first of all, she's usurping authority over a man. So she already out of order. Then when her cycle comes on, she's still standing up there. And we go to them places in droves. We knocking down the door to get in them places. But it says, who defiled our land? We did. We caused the protection to remove from off of us. So if we understand that, then we also understand then how we get our protection and power back. This is why you have so many other doctrines around. Because the heathen begins to realize, look, if they keep reading this book, they're going to figure out how to get their power back. Okay, you go over here and start a church, but teach something different. So they won't really find out how to get their power back. Here goes some money. Start up a few places. Teach something else. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries.
Countries, plural. Go ahead.
According to their way and according to their doings, I judged them. And when they entered onto the heathen, whether they went, they profaned my holy name.
So did they go around talking about Yahweh this or Yahweh that? No. They said these people are Israelites. And then we did everything under the sun. Go ahead.
When they said to them, these are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for mine holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whether they went. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus says the Adonai Yah, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which you have profaned among the heathen, whether you went.
Right. So the restoration of his name is directly related to the restoration of you. That means either you got to figure it out or get left by the wayside. You're going to have to figure it out. Because his name is going to be magnified one way or another. So you either figure it out or go by some other name. Go ahead.
And I'll sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, says the Adonai Yah, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes.
I shall be sanctified in you. Hey, you represent the firstborn. You are the first fruit. You ain't got no choice in the matter. You got to get right. This ain't no negotiation. Either get right or lose the name. You lose the name, you lose the inheritance. Go ahead.
For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries.
All countries. Go ahead.
And will bring you into your own land.
So our salvation was never heaven. That was somebody else's dream, that we was going to die and go to heaven. That's somebody else's God. You wasn't supposed to have to die to get paradise. Your paradise is in the land that he gave you. Go ahead.
Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I'll take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I'll give you a heart of flesh. And I'll put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them.
He says he's going to have to give us a new heart. And it's the first thing that people always say when they get off in some mess. God knows my heart. He knows my heart. He knows that my heart, is righteous, most of the time. He knows my heart. Yeah, he said he knows the heart is desperately wicked. That's what he said about the heart. That's why he said he got to give us a new one. But it's the first thing we do. God knows my heart. Go ahead.
And you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I'll be your Elohim.
We already read that every nation is going to go to their own land. Everybody's going to flee to their own land. When you talk about peace, there is no more or a greater amount of peace than being in your own place. And I mean, even when we go and visit somebody, you go visit somebody, going to their bathroom ain't like going to your bathroom. Man, you go in your bathroom, you sit there for a minute. Oh, wait a minute. They say, you finishing now? No. I'm going to be here for a minute. Huh? I might read the paper. I ain't going nowhere. This is my bathroom. There's a comfort that's in my house that I'm not going to have in somebody else's house. He said, you're going to go to your own land. That's real peace. Well, your officer's going to be of you. Your judge is going to be of you. Man, we go to court now. We don't know what's going to happen when we go to court. They say you're supposed to be judged by your peers. And you look at that jury, you be like, those not my peers. Don't none of those people look like me. And then they may find some people who look like you, but they don't think like you. They got them people from the deepest outer parts of the city. They already don't like you. You can tell you're going to jail when you come in the room. You be like, man, I'm going to jail. When you get that look, you already know this ain't good here. This is not good. Those are not my pills. Right? Something wrong with this judgment. It ain't even started yet. That's true peace. That's true peace. Being in your land. Where we are is somebody else's land. And let's be honest, if Yahweh destroyed this place, who can honestly say the land belongs to them? It's not the Euro-Gentiles' land. They came here. The people who were here, they done pretty much killed them off. It's nobody's land. So if Yahweh destroyed this place, nobody is left without their own land. This is not any of ours who live here. Nothing happens if he destroys this place. It belongs to no one. Go ahead, bro.
I will also save you from all your uncleanness, and I'll call for the corn, and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. And I'll multiply the fruit of the tree, and the increase of the field, that you shall receive no more reproach of famine among the heathen. Then shall you remember your own evil ways, and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your lawlessness and your abominations. Not for your sakes do I this, says the Adonai Yah. Be it known unto you. Be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel. Thus says the Adonai Yah. In the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your lawlessness, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the waste shall be built, and the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. And they shall say, this land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden.
Consider that. The land of Israel is not going to look the way that it looks now. It looks that way because you're not in it. Yahweh is waiting for Israel, the people, to return to Israel, the land. And it's going to look totally different when you get there. Go ahead.
And the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahweh, built the ruined places and plant that was desolate. I, Yahweh, have spoken it, and I will do it. Thus says the Adonai Yah. I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel, to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock.
Once again, we're looking at so some people will read and they say, wait a minute, I'm going to make a man more precious than gold. Then he's saying, I'm going to multiply men like a flock. You got to get rid of the evil ones first. Otherwise, you multiplying mess. Don't do you no good to just keep multiplying mess. No. Let's kill off all these rebels, the ones who can't follow instructions, the ones that want to do their own thing. Let's kill off all of them, women and men included. So don't get it twisted and think that this is just going to be a situation where it's going to be one or the other. No. It's going to be both, because those people who learning falsehoods, understand their wives and they're learning falsehood too. It ain't just a man in there learning the falsehood. All of them learning falsehood, and then they practicing it. Y'all, we're going to do away with all that. Then multiply from the remnant, not multiply from the evil. Because all we have to do, and we read in this book where it said, go in there and kill everything that breathes. They leave one thing. In one generation, that one person that they left has turned into an army that ends up fighting us. One individual. Go ahead.
As the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feast, so shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahweh.
And they shall know that I am Yahweh. That's all that we're going to do for today. Govern yourselves accordingly. We are still within our 3-day sanctification period. We will be gathering here again tonight to take part in our feast of first fruits and to make our appearance. And we will go over those things in more depth then, but govern yourselves accordingly. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.